LeRae Caparis, and I'm Chief Officer of Mission Integration and Spiritual Formation.
Okay. So what does that title mean to you, Pastor LeRae?
So that title means to me that we live out our mission in our everyday work. And so we want to make sure that that's at the forefront of everything we do, in all of our programs, in all of our activities within the community. And part of my job is to have those conversations with leaders, with our managers, with all of our staff, just so that it's a part of who we are.
Great. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. How long have you been at Wedgwood?
I've been at Wedgwood for 23 years.
Okay. How has your role changed? What did you start doing?
So my role has changed immensely since I started at Wedgwood Christian Services in my late 20s. I had been a chaplain in a hospital and came from a high stress environment, loved working with families, with children, with people who were going through real critical times in their lives. And I was at a transition in my own life. I heard about this part-time chaplaincy job working with kids. I applied for it. I had no clue what it would be like to be a pastor in a residential setting. And I had 3 interviews. And in that process, I learned what Wedgwood was about. And I was hired to be a chaplain at 4 of our homes.
Right. Tell us about the homes. Who are these kids at Wedgwood, and what service do you provide to them?
Sure. So our kids at Wedgwood come from varying experiences, but they come from environments where they've experienced just so much brokenness. They've experienced, many of them, abuse, neglect. They have had disappointments. They have lived in the school of suffering more than most of us will in our entire lifetime. They come to us and they want something stable. They want to learn who they are. They want to be able to trust people. They want to find purpose in their life. And as pastors here, we can point to that purpose being in the person of Jesus Christ and Jesus' love for us.
Great. How do you navigate all the different faiths, the faith backgrounds, and the different stops along the road,
Sure.
the faith journey that people come to Wedgwood
Sure.
with?
It's so important to listen to where people are at in their faith journey. And what we want people to understand here is that our kids need to see Christ in what people do, not necessarily in what they say. Our kids have come from places where they didn't know what love really is all about. They want to learn to love themselves. And so we want our staff here to just come and show them an example of what human love really is. And that's where we intersect in our faith. We know that we're loved by a God who can love us perfectly, even though we ourselves cannot. We both point to Christ in that, but we also show them who Christ is all about in how we interact with them.
How do you see God working at Wedgwood?
I see God working in the small and the big things. I see God working in staff who prepare meals, who get kids up in the morning, who hold them accountable, who love them, who say the hard things, who encourage them, who let them know that they matter, who let them know that they have purpose and value, who show them that they're accepted no matter really what they do, and that they'll be given second chances. So I see God mostly in people and in interactions and in relationships, both among employees and how we treat each other, but also in our interactions with the clients.
How has this work at Wedgwood changed you?
I think how it has changed me mostly is that I'm willing to get my hands dirty. Life is messy, and especially here at Wedgwood, emotions are loud and messy, and we need our kids to experience them. We need them to own their narrative. We need them to understand that their story is important and that God is an important part of their story also, and His hope and love interweaves with their story. It intersects in a powerful way. But I'm willing to live in the messiness of life. And that's coming pretty natural for me the more years that I spend here.
How do you see the faith component of the work you do impacting the treatment clients at Wedgwood receive?
Our kids here, more than anything, want to experience belonging, acceptance, and purpose. They can find belonging in the family of God and in being loved by the perfect parent. We don't know where life will take them, but God goes with them, so they can find belonging and family in God. Recently, one of our clients shared with me that he wanted a forever family. We don't know if he'll get a forever family here on earth, but he will receive a forever family in his life with Jesus. And so that's where I really experience faith here at Wedgwood. We also hope that they develop a trusting relationship, begin to trust people, and perhaps begin to trust God. So we allow them here to explore both their faith and explore what life is all about. No question is too dumb. We say that all the time. And we want them to ask those hard questions. We want them to admit what they don't know and to be accepted in that moment for anything that they bring to us. And we're willing to stick with them as they walk through those difficult steps in life.
Tell us about a child that you remember meeting maybe last week, maybe 15 years ago, and their story is one you cannot forget.
I went to Young Life Camp with a girl who was challenged with some substance abuse and lived with a family whose parents also were challenged with substance abuse. Very, very kind girl, just embraced life, wanted to find joy, wanted to heal, find recovery, wanted to have success in life. We went as a group to Young Life Camp, and some other clients went along, and one of the other girls made it very, very difficult for everybody to enjoy the experience. And she really tried to sabotage the joy that others were having. And during a quiet time, this girl said to her, "You know, I've chosen to be kind because I'm not treated with kindness, and I don't want anybody else to have the experience that I have." This other girl shared just the opposite. "I try to make people feel what I have had to feel my whole life." And this client, in her bravery, her resilience, her strength, her beauty, her kindness, really challenged this girl to think differently and to know that we have choices in life in how we interact with people, in how we will live our lives. And she's choosing kindness, even though other people have not been kind towards her.
Beautiful. What do you say, or what would you say to a child arriving at Wedgwood today?
What would be the first thing?
What would you say to them? What would you want them to know?
You are not alone. We are going to be with you during this chapter. We're not going to leave you. There's nothing that you can do to push us away. We're in it with you.
Wonderful. So you do meaningful work here, Pastor LeRae, and it cannot be easy. What do you do? Where do you find joy?
I find joy in God's creation. I find joy in soulful reading and soulful relationships. I find joy in looking at this world for new opportunities and embracing those. And I find joy in company. Good friends, good family, good food.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.